Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything City past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of City stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Welcome to Match Day Programme. Watch our regular look at the City magazine. Yeah, the City football programme. I always call it a magazine. I suppose it is a magazine, isn't it? Let's be honest about it. But obviously, do they call it? It doesn't say it on it. It's just a brochure, isn't it? A Match Day magazine. But obviously, we're going to look at this one today, which is the latest home game. Fantastic cover, of course, with our hero on the front. How long he'll be with us, who knows, eh? But he's playing some great stuff at the moment. I think he's been in the last 5 league games, including this one. I think he's been my man of the match in 4 out of the 5. So a great image to kick us off there on the, of course, Manchester City versus Burnley on the 16th of October 2021. Well, the game turned out okay, didn't it? So what about the what entertainment did we get, or what have we got from the matchday programme? Yeah, I'll tell you now, I thought this was one of the better ones this season so far. Not for anything particular that they've done different in it. Just obviously the articles perhaps are a little bit more interesting to me. That's all. Yeah, 84 pages, of course. No change there. Obviously, I think the last one we did was Wickham, which was a smaller one for the Carabao Cup, wasn't it? It's our cup, nobody else's cup. So this is back to the 84 pages for the Premier League games, and I assume the Champions League games. So it's the same as well. I've done the Champions League one. I can't remember now, to be honest with you. I think it was 84 pages. So there you go. So we start off with Bernardo. Yeah, looking through, obviously Pep's piece is interesting. It's nice. Obviously, we had the presentation on the pitch, didn't we, for this 1967-68 players. Obviously, Harry Dowd, who sadly passed away a few years back, obviously got his medal posthumously, of course. Paul Hince's relatives were there, and Stan Horn and Bobby Kennedy were actually there as well. So Pep's done a nice little mention for him as well in his little programme notes, so that's quite good. And then, strangely enough, the next page you get greeted by a picture of the Burnley captain, club captain, me. Yeah, so it's obviously a little piece on no room for racism, but obviously it's just a bit odd to see a Burnley guy on sort of in the front part of it, not in the Burnley section, but obviously as I said, it was a no room for racism thing. The main interview is, well, it's not an interview. Well, there's comments and quotes, etc. from him. Of course, it's called an interview, but it's not really an interview. It's always called an interview in these programmes. But of course, it's Phil Foden. So our wonderful Phil Foden, we won't mind a bit of more direct questioning rather than quotes and stuff we've probably read about over the time anyway. But yeah, he's the main guy. Interesting fact, yeah, they have some facts about Mr. Foden. I'll put one of these in one of these reviews as I'm doing him. His middle name is Walter. There you go, Philip Walter Foden. I assume he's Philip. I'm sure he wasn't christened Phil. Philip Walter Foden. I thought, what's a good old-fashioned name, Walter, isn't it? Has it gained popularity again? I know a lot of these old names. I know mine'll never come back. I don't think Bernard or Charles. I don't think he'll ever come back. But yeah. Nice to know his interesting facts. I'll do that in these programme things. His middle name is Walter. There you go. Good old Walter. I've got to start calling him Walter. It's a much better name. Imagine calling him Walter Foden. It doesn't sound right for a footballer, does it? It'd have to be Walter something. It just doesn't sound a footballer's name, does it? But there you go. Mike Summerby, Buzzword talks about, again, an interesting piece to me, the loss of course of some great images as well of Roger Hunt and Jimmy Greaves, who recently passed away, and obviously Mike Summerby either played alongside or against him in his time in his football career, so that was good to see. Head to head is interesting. Yeah, it's a bit slight of a mismatch, which sometimes it will be one. It's very rare to get two teams where you're going to find two players of sort of equal standing, if you like. And this time it's obviously KDB. So obviously comparing to KDB, you've got to be something special. But they pick on Dwight McNeil, who's certainly in the match, did one or two KDB-like passes into him, and he's perhaps should have scored from one corner. Should have scored from one, perhaps, but Stefan made a good block, didn't he? But yeah, so it's interesting to sort of compare the two. Obviously, the stats for KDB are way in above what they've come up with Dwight McNeil. But he's a product, I didn't know, he's a product of the United Academy, of course, Dwight McNeil, and he's represented England at under 20 and under 21 level, and his potential to go for, obviously, get a full cap at some stage for the big team. I thought he was okay. Don't get me wrong. I thought he was all right in the match. I don't. He wasn't brilliant, and his stats are okay. Nothing wrong with him, but. Yeah, we might see him in the future playing for the full England team. I don't know. Play for both. They picked on Summerby again, which there's not a lot of players have played a lot of games for sort of City and Burnley, if you know what I mean. I think Summerby made 51 appearances for Burnley. He didn't score any goals, which is quite unusual. He wasn't a prolific goal scorer by any means. He's more of a winger, obviously, but he never scored any goals in his 51 appearances for Burnley. But that was an interesting comparison played for both. And of the main guys, a lot of names I hadn't heard of, to be honest with you. But obviously the main guys, you had Jerry Gow, Joey Barton, of course, and Kevin Reeves. Kevin Reeves, is it? Kevin Reeves? Yeah, I was going to say Keanu Reeves, then. Cracking up they were amongst the better known names. Yeah, I'm sure Keanu Reeves never played for City and Burnley, did he? But there you go. X and the City, yeah, that looks at Steve Kinsey. And he's actually featured, I've not done it yet, I will be doing it, the November digital magazine, the City Digital magazine, is actually featured in there as well. So I think there's probably elements taken from that and put into the pro. So I've not sort of looked in depth at it at the moment. So I can't imagine they would have produced a totally different article for one or the other. Obviously, they might have nicked bits and extended it or decreased it or whatever, depending on how much wordage they're going to use. But yeah, he's based in the USA now, but obviously he does come over to the UK once a year and tries to get a City game or two in him. He was a City fan as a youngster, so it's always nice when these obviously a lot of the like now with the academy, obviously they're not particularly going to be City fans, are they? Might be, they come from Spain, they're probably as fans of other teams, and even the local lads are not always guaranteed to be City fans. But obviously Steve Kinsey was a City fan as well and got as we all do, the chance. Wish we could anyway play for our team when he got the chance to play for City. Quiz, yeah, the quiz was all right. It is a quick one, just a little extra for you. I'll give you the answer just before we finish. How many times have Burnley been the top division champions? Is it 0, 2 or 3? So there's a sort of guess question from the match programme, if you like. So have a think of that before we get to the end. How many times have Burnley actually won the league title, the big league title as such? Kevin Cummings, yeah, he features an October 1979 session he did with the Jam. Yeah, if you're photographing the Jam, so if you're into that group, so a couple of good images and a couple of things remembered by Kevin. And then on to the best bit and the highlight of the programme for me all the time is obviously Gary James, Dr. Gary James. He takes us back to 2021, but yes, 2021, not 2021. A season where both City and Burnley were challenging for the title. And he looks back mainly at the Hyde Road that had been rebuilt, that had been burnt down, obviously, a few months earlier in the same season. And as ever, this is a brilliant piece from Gary, and he looks at more modern, more up-to-date meetings as well. But obviously, that's the start of it. Obviously, I'm not going to say whether Burnley won the league in 2021 because obviously that'll ruin the quiz question, won't it? But yeah, interesting bit as ever. One of my favourite little pieces so far off Gary. And they're all my favourite, but I really enjoyed looking back at this old games against Burnley and significance and what they meant, etc., etc. Is what I try to do with my history boy stuff. I always try and look for significant things that happened in these games. Even games you don't think are that significant, there's always something, isn't there? What's in a name? Well, that's always a funny. This one always makes me laugh. And of course, we've got João Cancelo in this one, and I always look for the iffy fact of the day where they link. Obviously, they take the letters of his name and link it to something significant, but sometimes they're pushing it a little bit. You know, if you watch these vlogs, and this time it's C. So the C in his name, obviously, it could be the first C or the second C. I can't remember now, but equals Losche, Losche. All right, pushing it a bit. That's L, it's not C, which means the blokes apparently, or roughly translated means the blokes. And it was the nickname for Valencia, where Cancelo made his name after leaving Benfica, Losche. So that's the link of C. So it's a bit dodgy. It's not the greatest link. You always try and find one that's not specific. They just forced it to be a link sort of thing. Ruby Mace features in the City Women piece, just a couple of pages as usual. And Daniel Ogwuru is featured from the under-18s. And it's interesting, one of his questions was the best piece of advice he'd ever been. He was asked about the best piece of advice he'd ever been given so far in his life. And he said, always control the controllables. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm sure I could come up with a bit better advice I've been given over time, but that's just always control the controllables. There you go. I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. I have no idea whatsoever. And also in this, we also have a crossover like Kinsey. We've got David Ball. He's actually featured in the digital magazine as well. And I assume again, they took snippets and added bits and took bits out, etc. He was, of course, an FAU Cup winner with City, and he's sort of singing the praises of the EDS and the setup, etc. He actually appeared as a sub in our 4-3 loss at Old Trafford in 2009, a game we like to forget, don't we? Let's be honest about it. But this was the closest he came for a regular appearance in the first team. But at least he made a first team appearance, and then he was siphoned off somewhere else. He went on to somewhere else. He now plays for Wellington Phoenix. So if New Zealand have a league, I assume that's in New Zealand, isn't it? Wellington. Or perhaps they play in the Australian League. I don't know. I assume New Zealand have their own little league, but I couldn't see anything when I was looking through the article to say what it was. But he's now playing for Wellington Phoenix, David Ball. So that was quite interesting. Famous last words. No intro necessary for this one, of course. We know this guy very well. I've seen many interviews with him and seen him featured on podcasts, etc., etc. And it's obviously a lifelong City fan. Johnny Marr, obviously the famous last words. So I'll say, apart from that one where they did that Arsenal fan that time, which I didn't like, at least they're consistent and doing City link things now, which is what I want to see. I don't want to see a Burnley fan in that, for instance. I mean, I just don't understand that. Perhaps he listened to me when I've criticised it. Hey, but there you go. So, but Johnny Marr, we knew a bit of how he supported City, etc. If you know anything about Johnny Marr, obviously you might know that information anyway. But that's the famous last word. Right, there you go. Yeah, the quiz answer. There you go. How many times? 0, 2, or 3? Well, they've actually won the league title, the big league title, the main league title. They won twice. So, yes, 2021 season, which is what Gary James was talking about there. They won it that season. And, of course, they won it in 59-60. So, obviously, I was born in my first season. All right, I didn't know much about it because I was only a few months old. But my first football season after I was born, 59-60. So there you go. So they have won it twice in the history. So there you go. Yeah, not a bad effort. As I said, some good articles. Not brilliant. As I say, Gary James is always going to be the highlight for me, whatever happens. Very rarely he isn't the highlight for me. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was a good program. As I say, you can get it through this Reach Sports. If you need any subscription details or anything like that, just give us a shout. I can give you the email or the address for this Reach Sports, so you can subscribe to these magazines. I did have a few problems, you probably know. Obviously, I picked this one up at the match. Obviously. Well, that was another story because obviously all the terminals were down. So after walking around the ground, I eventually found a booth where the woman was taking money. So I paid in cash. There you go. So contactless City. I actually paid in cash for this one yesterday. But as I say, I do get a pristine one, which is probably that one up there on the wall. I do get a sort of from Reach as well, which is what I subscribe to. And they did have trouble getting them out on. So that arrived as after I'd left for the match. But obviously, at least it arrived on the day. So if you want to get that subscription, the prices are very reasonable. It works out about $3.25. per programme, and they cost £3.50, so you can't really quibble at that, can you? So, guys, get subscribed. If you need any details, give us a shout and I'll sort it out for you. Anyway, yeah, not bad at all. So we don't mark these because there's no point with the City ones, but one of the better ones so far. And anything with Bernardo, anything with my little hero on the front's got to be good, hasn't it? Let's be honest about it. Anyway, thanks for watching. What we're going to do rest today. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More important, let's all look after each other. To meet here again on the Citizen channel. Oh, please have a look at my film and TV channel if you can get a chance on that. It's I try and inform and entertain on there as well if you can have a look at that. But either way, until we meet again, I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, please. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.